Most EV charging takes place at home or at the workplace, but if you're an EV user, almost certainly at some point you're going to use public chargers, whether occasionally or regularly. So this video looks at public chargers, charging speeds, connector types and costs. If you've not got off-street parking, it will be extremely convenient for you if you live on a street with on-street residential chargers. So the vision here is that there'd be lots of chargers dotted up and down residential streets so that many residents could charge up at the same time. They're sometimes built into lampposts and they don't need to be particularly powerful because the idea really is that these would be used mainly overnight, so you're not in a particular hurry for the charge. Most of the on-street residential chargers are 7 kilowatts, and that's enough to charge up even the biggest battery EV fully charged overnight. Some are less powerful, particularly those that are built into lampposts. They might be 3 or 5 kilowatts quite often, but even a 3 kilowatt charger would give you something like 150 miles worth of driving from an overnight charge. The charge points that you find in towns and cities, for example car parks, parking bays, also a lot of the destinations such as supermarkets, they're typically 7 to 22 kilowatts AC. But the rate at which your EV will charge depends not only on the charger but on the EV itself. So these are delivering AC, but your battery needs DC to charge. So the EV has to convert that AC into DC, and that can only be done at a certain speed. Most EVs on sale today can do that AC to DC conversion at 11 kilowatts. It's no problem plugging into an AC charger that's more powerful than your EV can handle. There's no safety issue. The car will just draw what it can safely draw. If you're buying an EV and you think you'll do a lot of charging on this kind of public charger, then you may well want to select an EV with quite a high AC power rating. If you're on a journey and you want a quick charge and to get going again, then what you need is to find either rapid or ultra rapid chargers such as those behind me. Now these deliver DC, which of course is what the battery needs to charge, so you're no longer limited by the speed at which the EV can convert AC into DC. Until a few years ago, DC charging was 50 kilowatts, that's all it was. Now it's anything up to 350, which really is phenomenally powerful. And the convention seems to be that anything up to 100 kilowatts is usually called rapid, and above or more than 100 kilowatts we call it ultra rapid, but I wouldn't worry too much about that distinction. But even with DC, there's a limit to what your EV can take. Until a few years ago, 50 kilowatts was the maximum that an EV could handle. Now 80 to 100 is quite common, and some, such as the Kia EV6, the Ioniq 5 and some of the Mercedes, even go right up to about 275 kilowatts charging rate. What does this mean in terms of charging time? Well, if we take the 100 kilowatt power as an example, a 30-minute charge at 100 kilowatts would give you 50 kilowatt hours of power, which would be enough for something like 150 miles worth of motorway driving. And the final point with rapid charging, once it gets to something like 80 to 85% charged, then you'll notice that the EV automatically slows down the rate of charge, and that's done in order to protect the battery. And what about connector types? Well, for the AC charging, you use the lead that came with your EV cable that lives in the boot of your car. For the rapid charging and ultra rapid, such as we've got here, they use what's called tethered charging. So you use the cable that's permanently connected to the charger, and almost all EVs now use a connector type called CCS. That's pretty much become the industry standard. The Leaf is the exception. Even new Leafs still come with a connector called CHAdeMO. And you need to be a little bit careful with CHAdeMO. In most cases, ultra rapid or rapid chargers will have both connector types. Occasionally, the newer ultra rapid or rapid installations won't have CHAdeMO, so check in advance and make sure you're not going to get caught short. The best way to check in advance is through an app called ZapMap. I'd thoroughly recommend ZapMap. It's very good for helping you locate chargers, find out about their power consumption, what's available, connector types, and even if they're online and if they're working. And what does it cost to charge an EV on the public network? Well, prices have been increasing quite significantly throughout 2022 and early 2023, as has the price of electricity for other markets. According to the AA, as of January 23, the average price for fast chargers was 53 pence per kilowatt hour. For rapid chargers it was 66, and for ultra rapid it was 71 pence. Now at those prices, with fast chargers you'll see a fairly modest saving compared to petrol and diesel costs, and really very little saving at all for the ultra rapid and the rapid chargers. However, remember that most people with EVs of course do most of their charging at home or at the workplace. Then even with today's higher domestic electricity prices, you will still see very significant savings relative to petrol or diesel.